This is total televote bait. This feels like the 3-0 version of Sophie's Choice. Tron pop, the song version of having 10 seatbelts on. Very, very confusing. Very confusing. I am so shocked that this is my number one. Hey Eurovision family, this is Tom coming to you from Shanghai and I'm back for another Eurovision reaction video. Today I'm going to be going through a preview of Melodi Grand Prix, that's Norway's national final, which has been one of the best national finals this season. I'm going to be going through the 10 songs in the final in order from my 10th to my first favorite. So I'm giving you my top 10, but I'm also going to be giving you a rundown of their chances, what I think about each song, and how I hope and think things will turn out on Saturday night. So let's kiki. Most of you will have heard my opinions about all these songs except for Akuvi. I did actually record, but I never put it up. So that's the only unknown quantity. So I'm going to leave a little bit of suspense. Will I like it? Won't I? Ooh, mysterious. Guys, let's start with my number 10. Now, this is going to be my first of several rants. The song is Didrik and Emil. I don't even know what the song name is. It doesn't really matter. This song is an absolute shit show. I really don't like this at all. This song is hyper bland, hyper safe, middle of the road. It's like the song version of having 10 seatbelts on. It is so unrisky. I'm really struggling to see why this was given an automatic qualifier place other than the fact that he's been in the competition before. Now, I'm a hyper freak Eurovision fan. I still wouldn't recognize him if I saw him in Rotterdam, having competed when, I don't even remember when, I think it was 2010. I think he competed the year after they won. So keep in mind, the only people who can vote for Norway in the Eurovision are non-Norway, are people outside of Norway. 99.9999999% of them will not remember who this person is and won't care, even if they did remember. You gotta go by the song. This song is absolutely horrendous. I really feel so bad for some of the people in the semi-finals who had great, legitimate songs and didn't get through because this went in for, I don't know, nostalgia, because he's got a bit of a following, I don't know, but this really doesn't feel deserved whatsoever. Absolutely be devastated if this was chosen. I can't see that happening because I think this is where the jury really can come in and rein back any emotional decisions. I think the Norwegian public have been absolutely fantastic for these first 5 semis. They've really chosen really well. I have total and utter faith that Norway will do the right thing, but yeah, there's always that like slight sliver of horror in my mind that something might go horribly wrong and this might be picked. Speaking of slices of horror, my number 9 is Tone Damli with Hurts Sometimes. Now, this song doesn't hurt sometimes, this song hurts all the time. This is a total snooze fest. She's gorgeous, she's clearly got stage presence and persona and can sing, she's got a bit of fashion, she's very pretty, doesn't matter. Is the song good? No, it's not. This song is so bland, generic, I cannot remember anything from it other than the fact that I was very bored. The reason I'm being quite attacking on this is I have the same feeling as I do with Didrik. This has a shot to win. She's got a big following. She's quite famous. Same thing, she won Norwegian Idol. Does anyone outside Norway care? Absolutely, definitely not. There is this dread in my heart that this could get through with a televote. I think I read somewhere that there's going to be 4 people through to the super final and then 2 duels and then a final duel. So she only really needs to come in the top 4 of the jury vote and then she could get pushed through by the public. So that's a little bit worrying that some of these songs that I feel they're just weaker, but they've got a big name attached to them, that if they get through to the final 4, they could sweep ahead. Look, I have a lot of faith in Norwegians. I think I can't think of a time when Norway's made a mistake in their national finals. So I think they really got their finger on the pulse of what works and they are able to make a rational decision. So look, it's just that small dread of possibility. I think it was also because she was so high up in the odds, that was what was worrying me as well. I think they've actually gone for a 4 in the super final and then 2 duels and then a final duel, I think. Which would kind of fit in with the theme that they've had this year. I have to look that up. Next up is my number 8. That goes to Magnus Bokn, Over the Sea. Now, look, I don't really hate on this. I think it was a deserving qualifier from a semi because Oda Loves You hyper flopped. So he was the best in that semi and he did deserve to go through. This has got Alexander Rybak behind it and also one of the guys from Joust. Is that going to carry enough weight? Alexander Rybak, doesn't he have a 100% record in the national final? I really hope it doesn't go through just because of that. The song is very fine. That's it though. He seems like a very nice guy. He sings it well. The song is not interesting. It's very soundtrack or Disney. It's got a little bit of like Enya and sea shanty going on. It's not Disney, but with the quality that we have this year, for a song like this to go through would really be a massive injustice. So I'm not hating on him, but yeah, like, well, I kind of am hating on him, but like, not him, I'm hating on the song. Those three, now going up into 7th, we've crossed a line. So those three, if they went, I'd be pretty devastated, I gotta be honest. My 7, 6, 5, I'd be okay with it. I'd be a little bit confused, but I wouldn't be like very upset. The first one there, number 7, is Kristin Husøy. I've been assured by Norwegian that I've said her name relatively close. I don't have a problem with this song. From what I recall, I've only listened to it once, I admit, but most people are only gonna listen to it once. It had a kind of like Katie Malua, jazzy, Lana Del Rey type feel. It was very easy to listen to. I'm pretty sure I made it through the whole song in a non-painful way. I'm not hating on this at all. I just, as a personal preference, don't like this as much as some of the other songs. But I would be very okay with this going. I would be surprised if it went through. I have a feeling this is something that's going to very much finish in the middle of the table. I think it's relatively high with the community, although I think the community tab on the Eurovision scoreboard does tend to skew towards a slightly older demographic. I do think this will be more pleasing to the ears of older demographics, so that could be possibly why. Otherwise, I haven't really heard too many rumblings about this or people really getting behind it. I think this is like an ideal type of song that you'd have as filler. I don't want to disrespect the song by calling it a filler, but really in finals there is always going to be like other songs that aren't in contention. And as an other song that's not in contention, this is really, really good quality and variety. So the fact this is 7 to me is a testament to what a good final Norway have. Like, I think it's pretty fair to say it's going to be up there at the end of the season, probably with Czechia. I think it's going to be between Norway and Czechia, and then we'll have to see if Melfest can pull itself together in the last 2 semis. My number 6, we're still in the okay but confused category, is Liza Vassilieva. Really, really love the story behind this song. I think it's very brave and bold. It's got a heart to it, an autobiographical element. The song is a little bit cheesy. I don't mind it though. As cheesy, upbeat songs go, it is listenable, it is fun. It doesn't have anything irritating or anything like that. You know, it's definitely not breaking the mold, but I'm very happy this is in the final. I think this sends a really nice message out in terms of like acceptance and inclusion, and it sends a really good message out to all the kids who are watching as well. Someone commented that she's from Russia, and I think she's originally from Russia and she moved to Norway. You know, obviously there's been lots of persecution in Russia of LGBT community. So I just think the story is, first of all, it has a story. It's got gravitas. It's something important. So I really like this presence. I don't think it has any chance to win. I would be pleasantly surprised if it did, but I really would be I think I'd be more surprised than pleasant. My number 5 song I heard a long time ago. We're still in my okay but confused category. This was the automatic qualifier from the first week. It's Take My Time by Sondrey, or Sondrey. Massively remember the tune right now. I do remember being quite impressed. It had like a cool, modern, very Sweden 2017 and 18 feel. That kind of Tron pop. The dancing performance looked good. I believe it was him and 4 or 5 other people there were well dressed. I remember he wasn't dressed differently from them, which I found a bit confusing. The fact I remember that like 4 or 5 weeks on shows that was a bit of a faux pas, that I can still remember that. But everything else about this was quite slick. Winner potential, I'd be surprised again, but again, a lot like Kristin, really great to have this in the final. Now, coming to my top 4. Number 4 place, no more mystery. It's Akuvi with Sondrey. We have crossed the line into songs I would be very happy to go to Eurovision. To have 4 songs in a national final that I would be very happy to go to Eurovision. These are also 4 songs that I have already downloaded and listened to multiple times, over 20 times. That for me is a testament to the real strength. We're talking Destination Eurovision quality of a final. Really, really impressive from Norway this year. What a great way for them to celebrate. I'm not sure if it's either 60 or 70 years, but it's some sort of anniversary. Probably 60 years. Really like this song. It's got a real cool, mellow, Caribbean feel. Her vocals are great. The music video has some gorgeous visuals in it. Probably doesn't have enough steam and oomph to carry it the whole way through. I think if you love this like real mellow Caribbean pop, which has become quite popular in the last couple of years, this is really going to be up your alley. I haven't seen her perform yet, so that's going to be a little bit of an unknown quantity for me. I haven't heard much buzz about this being in contention. I checked the odds yesterday and I think this was like second to last, which I find a bit confusing. I do think this is very worthy of being an automatic qualifier and has a shot. I'm very much rooting for her, and I'm very excited to see what she brings to the performance. She needs to bring a lot of attitude to the stage. Okay, my number 3 spot now. Disclaimer. These top 3 songs If any of you have read Sophie's Choice is about two different choices. This feels like the 3-0 version of Sophie's Choice. I had a really, really tough time getting my top 3 together. Not least of all because they're all very solid pop songs, but within pop, they're all quite different. And I really do love all 3 of them. In the end, and I'll justify why, I've put as my number 3 Rein Alexander. Now, if you saw my original video, I was not feeling this at the start. I felt that the club beat that comes in felt very cheap. Then I was editing the video and I got it in my head and I got obsessed with this for around a week and I was really listening to it a lot. But then it really trailed off again. So it's unusual to go that pattern. Usually I'll either not like something and then really like it, or like something and then really go off, or it tends not to go up and down and up. With this, I was not liking it, really liked it, and now I've kind of tailed off a little bit. That cheap beat doesn't have longevity to it. It gets a little bit grating. His performance was absolutely and utterly sensational. It was so, it was slick, it was entertaining, it was dynamic. He looked 1000% in control. Like every single camera shot, the flame coming in his hand made me full on gasp. The dancers were great. Probably their choreography felt a little bit too much like an online workout. It'd be good if that was right a little bit, but I love that they popped out of the smoke. They were running forward, they were fighting. They'll have had time to have practiced that in the 3-4 weeks off that they've had. I have no problem with this going whatsoever. I really, really love it. There is very little doubt in my mind that this would do extremely well in the televote. I don't know if it can match Kaino and win, but this is total televote bait. This would do really, really well. This would definitely qualify. Juries, it wouldn't do so hot, but televote, it's just going to do really, really well. You can't really mark it down for televote. You can maybe not put it in your top, but it's not the type of thing you go, oh, I hate that. That kind of polarizing feel that Hatari had last year. I really love him. His voice is totally effortless. He could sing this song 50 times and it'd be perfect every single time. Very, very deserving. Why on earth did this have to qualify? 2 of my top 3 had to qualify. Why? Very, very confusing. Next up now, my number 1 and my number 2. Rein was a little bit easier to place, but my top 2, bloody hell. Okay, that probably was my real Sophie's Choice. Which one did I choose? Okay, so my number 2. I feel bad saying this. I feel like I'm betraying someone. My number 2 is Raylee Wild. I have to put an asterisk on that because I wonder, would this be my number 1 if it wasn't released in the first week? This was released 5 weeks ago, so it's a long time. I've already listened to it quite a lot of times. It's not as fresh in my mind as everything else, so it's really hard for me to kind of judge this against other songs because it's harder for me to put myself in the shoes of someone who's listening for the first time. I do remember being really wowed by the performance. I love some of the visuals in the background. She had a real Lara Croft with the ponytail feel. It felt very Savannah, Africa, beautiful visuals with the huge African sun in the background. I love the lyrics. I love the cuckoo cuckoo. That for me is such a fabulous hook. This song is wild. I made a comparison to Lithuania before, how that song talked about running on lines, but was like a tame, tranquilized little kitten. This is wild. This lives up to its name and deserves that title. I don't know what's going on, but she's been drawn first in the order. Now, the quote that came out with no NRK from that was that they wanted to give each song their potential to shine. Now, I don't really know how you can shine in the first position when the majority of people haven't seen you. Having said that, one really good thing about the Norway final, I can't really say enough good things about the Norway final. I really, really am. I'm super impressed. This is my first year watching, really getting deep into it. I'm definitely going to watch it next year. But unfortunately, it's hard to find information about it on the English Wikipedia page, so I'm not massively sure about the format. I know previously what they've done is they've given the 12-point results from the juries, which is an international jury. I don't know if the first round is a mix of the two. I imagine it is, but I don't think they reveal the public vote in the first round. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the section below. To be honest, the small details don't matter. I'm pretty confident, even if it's jury alone or televote alone or both, I feel like Raylee will get in, but definitely televote alone is probably the biggest risk for her because she's first. But really, I feel like that's the first hurdle. Once she gets into the first of the duels, then she can really shine because everyone is going to be tuned in at that point, and all the songs I'm pretty sure will get to perform again. Normally, coming first is a little bit of a death sentence. With the format, I don't think it will be. I still think there's a little bit of shade here that she's been drawn first when she is one of the favorites. Someone's got to go first and someone's got to go second. So I suppose that's it. Song is great. Love it. Great, really listenability. I love her attitude. I think this is a very hard song to pull off. I think she did pull it off in the national final. I hope that they jazz up the staging a little bit. I think they need to bring something a little bit fresh because it was 5 weeks ago. I almost feel like they need to bring like not completely new visuals, but like very different visuals. So it feels like you're almost like, oh, this is like an upgraded version or a like newer version. And I think that's what she needs to do to stick out. Coming to my number one. Now I've got to admit, I am so shocked that this is my number one. If you saw my initial reaction video, I didn't dislike this by any means. My reaction was a little bit muted, but this really came alive when I saw this perform in the 4th semi-final. I was just absolutely floored. She brings this song to life. It's like a marionette doll that's been brought to life by the puppeteer. She's just so electrifying. Her voice is pitch perfect throughout the whole thing, and because of that, your mood and your focus on her isn't broken for a second because she's transporting you. And that's what a really great, flawless performer has the power to do. The song is really, really strong on top of that. I love the lyrics to this. I really love that about this girl trying to get this guy's attention. It's simple, but it's so relatable. Only small nitpick I'm going to pick with the lyrics is I don't like the bit where she's like, I'm standing here on the dance floor. Initially you're like, oh wow, this is like a Bond, expensive, like Vogue love match. And then she's like, I'm on the dance floor, and it's like, oh, it just makes it feel like real cheap. Like, oh, actually she's just in the club and she's just seen some guy for like 2 seconds. I don't know if that's just me, but like every time that comes up, I'm like, oh God, that's such a cheap lyric. I just wish they changed that one thing, because up until that point, the song is super elegant. It's expensive. It's like a luxury good. It's like velvet chocolate. Really just well produced and put together. This is written by Kjetil Moreland, who wrote and sang Monster Like Me, and he also wrote another beautiful song called Skin. If you've never heard that before, it's about the death of his mother. It's such a like amazing, haunting song. This is where he excels with these kind of like soulful ballads with heart. He's great at building up like suspense and spookiness. Song caught me totally off guard. I was totally about Rein and Raylee. Which R am I going to choose? And then out of nowhere, Ulrikke comes out. She just totally stormed up. I've heard people saying this has potential to win Eurovision. I am not at that point yet. I think this has a quality that undeniably the jury's going to put this through. If this went to Eurovision, there is no doubt in my mind that it's taken up one of the spots in that extremely difficult first semi-final. To win, I'm not sure. We'll have to see what it's up against. But top 10, very, very plausible. This is total quality. Her ability to perform, and when I say perform, I'm saying like not just sing this. There's a difference between singing and performing. She's performing this. There's an acting in it. There's passion. There's urgency. And that's what elevates this, and that's why it's my number one and gets 12 points. That is my top 10. Who do I think is in the running? Ulrikke is very heavy favorite in the odds. Oh, I just want to see Didrik and Tone out of that semi-final. Realistically though, I think one of them is going to be in it. So there's going to be a lot of stress and anxiety for me when it comes to that final about who's going to be against who. But really, Ulrikke, Rein and Raylee, I'm very happy with any of them. And Akuvi as well, but she's actually 10th in the odds, so I don't really think she's in the running. So guys, who do you like? Who's in your final top 10? Please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you on another Eurovision reaction video very soon. Goodbye.